So let's have a look, everybody, at what kind of message. You can see the cards going down today because I'm sitting in a different position. I think some of you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed by circumstances where you feel that you've tried a long time to get something moving and going the way you want it to. And it seems to be sort of really long-winded and interminable. And there is a sense of feeling a little bit overwhelmed here with what's taking place. Now, what the cards are saying to me is, and it's interesting that I listened to somebody talking this morning. His name's Earl Nightingale, and he comes from the 1950s and the 1960s. And he was talking about as you reap, so as you sow, so you reap. These cards are saying very clearly that you get back out of life exactly what you put in, and the amount you put in, and to be completely and utterly realistic about your circumstances. So your circumstances are a direct reflection of you, and if you want money, you're going to have to think about taking specific actions to actually get that to happen. And if you want a better job, you need to think about applying for lots of different interviews. And if you want a better family life, you need to look inside yourself and see how you can be more loving to members of your family without wanting anything back, and cease to criticise them. Yeah. So all these things, as you sow, so you shall reap. These cards are very clearly saying that to everybody today, that circumstances are exactly the way they have panned out. If your health isn't as good as you want it to be, Spirit are asking me to ask you to look back over the past. Are there times when you probably could have looked after yourself better, could have eaten differently, could have exercised more, could have had a different thinking approach to health? This kind of thing is really important. So the emphasis is on you stabilising yourself and becoming a lot more grounded and a lot more secure in your own person. And also to give up and walk away from anything or anybody that is particularly not going anywhere. These cards are not full of distress. They're just saying to me that you need to look at where things haven't been really working as much as you want them to, and be willing to really assess yourself in the equation, really look at what you're up to. And when you do that, when you're really honest with yourself, you'll get a breakthrough. Yeah. So right now, before we go any further, can you all just think about situations that perhaps you're staying in? I was dealing with a young lady this morning, and she went for an interview this week for a job, and she doesn't think the interview went very well, and she was completely devastated this morning. And Spirit said to me really clearly that the interview went exactly the way it was going to go because of the way she was thinking about the interview would go before she got there. She hadn't prepped herself properly. She hadn't looked at the kind of questions they were going to answer. She had spent the whole week thinking about they might ask her questions she didn't know how to answer. So that was a complete waste of her energy, wasn't it? If her energy had been put into, how can I resolve this? How can I find out which questions they are likely to ask me? And if I'm nervous, go and get a healing with Molly so that I'm not nervous and I'm very centred by the time I reach that interview. Do you see what I'm trying to say to you? And these cards are backing this up completely. Yeah. So you have got in your life the circumstances that you have set up according to all your past lives, according to your karmic path, according to all of the behaviours and the experiences that you've had this lifetime and your reaction to them. So the cards are also asking you again to let go of any need for criticism of another, and to look deep inside yourself at your part in the situation. For example, this young lady was not prepped, was she? She wasn't ready for that interview. So to come away and be devastated because she doesn't think she's got the interview is, from what Spirit is saying to me in these cards, unrealistic. It's unrealistic. Okay, so that's a really, really significant reading, and I think that I was meant to hear that this morning on YouTube from Earl Nightingale.